The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome to another wonderful day at TFNN.com, your headquarters for technical trading and investing. Of course, we've got a market that's up, down, all around. Of course, what are we doing? We're waiting for numbers in the morning, and of course, they pushed it down. They try to push it up. My guess is that we close right around 1605 at the end of the day. I don't think a lot of people want to get in front of these numbers. Of course, many people came out at noon and probably started sticking their toe in the water and saying, hey, well, I said I would buy when it got down to the 50-day moving average, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But, of course, very, very low volume off that low so far, and I think just about anything doesn't matter anymore. The first hour belongs to the retail traders. The last 30 minutes belongs to the street with huge amounts of money to spend every day. But, I could see us closing down 2-3 points out here by the end of the day. It looks like this rally is kind of petered out. Watching the volume, if we are going to get any kind of rally, it's going to be, I suspect, or any real movement going to be last 30 minutes of the day. Of course, we've had a lot of movement out here today. But when we go through history today, it probably seems today is rather insignificant. Of course, this is June 6th, always called D-Day. And, of course, June 6, 1944, the day that the Allied powers crossed the English Channel. They did such a great job of confusing the Germans that the casualties were, can you say 5,000 people dead in the first hour light? But, yeah, it's they were fairly light. I think it was, 10 or 15,000 dead the first day, and a terrific price to be paid. If anybody has never been to the cemetery in France at right around Omaha Beach and Pointe du Hoc, everybody argues about how that's supposed to be pronounced. I did go, and I think it was in 1994, 96, somewhere in that range, and happened to be in England and went across the channel for the commencement. Last few years, our president has not decided to go. Pretty much every president in the past has found his way on June 6th to pay homage to those that gave all. And I kind of hate to think that we're starting to forget about that. Did see an article today that said we're getting at the very end of the lifespan for those brave gentlemen that risked all for us. And we're seeing almost 600 World War II D-Day vets or those that joined up around that time go to their final resting place every day now, and they suspect that we'll have a high of somewhere around 800 buried each day at the height over the next couple of years, and then probably going to see a rapid roll-off of that number, but getting to the very end of those that were willing to give it all. So anyway, what do we have in a market out here? It started off this morning before everybody got going too far with a bogus article about SodaStream in a nondescript newspaper that has a circulation of about 15,000 people. And, of course, the article said SodaStream was going to be bought by PepsiCo. I have to say that CNBC has gotten much better about reporting these with a jaundiced eye. I just happened to be up very early this morning, and normally when they smell a rat, they're pretty good about saying so, and they did this morning, and I have to thank them. I got to take a nice little chunk out of SodaStream in a quick trade, but the thing basically bounced up to the low 90s this morning on this article that they were going to be bought out. The article has pretty much been totally negated now, but it's so easy to start a rumor like this, and easy to run shorts in a market that's as skittish as this one is. The whole idea that PepsiCo would buy SodaStream is a little funny to begin with. The reason why, they have a huge interest in the bottling companies. Getting into the business of SodaStream that many people think is a fad. I think it's got a high possibility of actually being a fad. I know lots of people use it and they like it. I know about half a dozen people that had it blow up in their house and stain their walls and ruin their carpeting. Apparently these things are kind of tricky, although I do not have one. The idea that they would license their syrup, possible, but again, that is not buying SodaStream. They were basically we've got CNBC and Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg. Those big companies do have the phone numbers for every CEO and text messages. When they see these now in the big news media, before they run, they almost always get confirmation from some of those numbers at the top of the company. Of course, we've seen other frauds in the market lately trying to do the same thing, and they've done it by dropping the news at 4 o'clock in a.m. On the West Coast and trying to get things moving before anybody gets up. But even then now, most of these big news organizations are quick to get right to the CEO and find out whether or not these are frauds again. Could this just be wishful thinking by someone that worked at SodaStream? They are an Israeli company. Who knows? But for the most part, it sounds to me like a small news story that got big, and maybe some wishful thinking for a newspaper that has an infinitesimally small subscription base. So anyway, that's what started off today. Of course, went to 90, back to 73. Not a bad play out there, but pretty easy to see the rat in that one. Of course, Apple was down earlier. Let's go ahead and check. What do I got here for Apple now? It's still off $7. I was off about $3 more, trading out at 437 right now. Rather weird that Apple is trading off before its a big worldwide developer conference that starts on Monday. There was some discussion about the way that Apple was pushing their iRadio system. Why this has not been widely reported. I was able to fish through some of the articles and find out why I think our Apple is down. They're giving some reasons that I think are just BS. But this is it. I think that the Apple is going to be talking about rolling out its radio service. It will not include Sony. Those that have read my Tech Insider know that just how mad the Hollywood crowd is and music industry is at Apple for basically ripping apart the music industry with their iTunes are not very friendly. Apple has also become giant jackasses. They offered 6 cents per 100 listens at the beginning, considering Pandora's rate is 12 cents and Spotify is 35 cents. I went through why and how the licensing boards charge different amounts of money depending on what you want to do. 6 cents was laughable. And in fact, if you believe the news report, Sony basically told them to go fornicate their mother and get out of their offices and never come back again. And I'm wondering if that is still the case. Basically, to really make this work, they're going to need basically the top 3 music labels and a lot of the privateers. And right now it looks like they've got 2. They probably had to pay up for it, which also means that Apple is probably not going to make any kind of decent money on this. Once they get started, it's going to be very hard for Apple to lean on the label suppliers and get rid of them. So a lot of people thinking that this would be Apple's door to big profits in the future. Probably not looking that well, and if they don't have Sony locked up by Monday, I would imagine maybe some further weakness in Apple. I'm not talking about $50, but I'm probably talking $5 maybe. It could be as much as $10 down in the price of Apple if they don't get Sony locked up by Monday morning. Of course, that starts at like 10 o'clock. 10:30 on the West Coast, so we're probably not going to see a lot of what Apple actually has to roll out, and the leaks start till probably 10 or 10:30 Eastern time before Apple really gets moving. And I think, especially with the number, it is going to be what do you want to think? I gotta probably say it's going to be a lot more about the numbers tomorrow. The job numbers at 8:30. Other things going on, of course, the sun is set on Europe. UK FTSE was off 1.3%. Germany's DAX off 1.2%. The numbers out of Germany were horrific. I mean, horrifically bad. Germany is for all practical purposes, the only country that was not in a decent recession. I think you can probably state that if they don't have a turnaround in the next month of numbers, Germany is in not just a flat market or in flat growth, but in negative growth, and recession is coming to Germany. France was off 1%. Spain's off 0.9%. Portugal 1.4% lower. Italy 2.6% lower. The Irish were off 1.3%. Greece, again, probably not a big deal, but off almost 1%. Verifone came out with numbers last night. Symbol is PAY. It's the disaster du jour. All number missed on top and bottom, guided down. This thing's headed for about $12. It missed by an entire nickel, guided down. There's not much to say about this thing other than look for about $12 on it from last night. 64 years ago today, if you've been listening to the news, we found out that the NSA is asking for data on every phone number, on every person in every phone call, and why it's been reported as Verizon. It apparently is every network provider out there. We'll talk about this when we come back. I said a couple weeks ago that probably one of the greatest books out there, recent books, is Why Orwell Matters, and certainly not just Animal Farm, but 1984 is probably time for a second look on that.
The Art of Timing the Trade Charts has officially launched at TFNN. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind software, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, butterflies, ABCs, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the market for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, and even months searching to find. As part of our introductory pricing, we're offering licenses available at only $59 per month. We're so confident that you'll love this new outstanding piece of charting software that we'll even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Lock in your low price today by ordering your copy at TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
About 1 point on the S&P cash. Of course, we tried to rally a little this morning. I got down to 1598. Don't imagine that by the end of the day we're probably going to see much. I think we probably close somewhere around 1605, 1606. I think we're going to probably see a few sellers come in late in the day, but probably in this big scheme of things, not going to matter. It's all going to be about those 8:30 numbers in the morning, and as much emphasis as everybody's placing on them, I suspect that they will be anticlimactic. I think a lot of people trying to put a lot more into them that was there. It's going to go back to a market that has much more involved in it. Anyway, we were talking just before the break. 1984 was published 64 years ago today. I read all the Orwell books when I was young. They always had the Scholastic book class thing, and I probably read 2-3 books a week. Always was big on reading, and the Scholastic books you could get for $0.25 or 50 cents a piece or something for the paperbacks. So I got all those, but certainly a very prophetic gentleman. And when we think about everybody looking at everything we do now, and seemingly everybody figuring that it's no big deal, very funny to me that we've seemed to decided that all those wonderful rights that we have are just something to give away, like throwing away yesterday's newspaper. But of course, 1984 was all about a socialized government and the privileged inner party that persecuted all individualism, independent thinking. Maybe they were using the IRS. I can't remember about that. Probably not, but probably didn't need the IRS as you didn't have any money. I think everybody got exactly the same, of course, except the inner party, which all got everything, just like Russia. In fact, almost all his books had to do with socialism and communism from his days in Spain and right after the war in Russia. But still, if you're looking for a great book, Why Orwell Matters, you can look it up at Amazon, but certainly well worth it, but very prophetic. And when we look at the news today, of course, we had the yen just come out and blow apart. And just going into the close over there, just a huge down day that it just got ripped apart, almost 3% down in a matter of a couple of hours. Of course, we're seeing the Fed come back, I suspect, and really push this market around a little bit today. And, of course, they're actually pumping it up now 5 points out here. We're able to probably shake a lot of people out. Again, probably not a big deal until tomorrow, so I'm not going to get too wound up on any of this. I know a lot of people are probably going to read a lot more into this move than probably should be. But I think after the numbers tomorrow, we're going to have to go back to the realization that the housing market is going to continue to pull back based on higher interest rates probably through the rest of the summer. So what else do we have? Somebody asked me and emailed me, in fact you can too, at path at tfnn.com. That's PATH at tfnn.com. How would I want to look at, if I don't have a Forex system, how would I want to look at it? Well, there are some ETFs that you can watch, and the DBJP is one of those ETFs. If you wanted to look at how Japan is doing via the currencies, I think there's several in this DB line of ETFs also that you can look at dollar-wise and get real-time feedback on what's going on if you don't have a Forex system out there. I don't spend a lot of time on it, but very interesting. Of course, the DBX funds have a lot of exposure to those, and one of the things that we can see is we got right back in to a gap, a fairly extensive gap up that happened back in April, like April 4th or 3rd or something, maybe 5th, and we are back in that gap right now for the moves in the currency, so, or at least in the yen. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. We're going to start getting into some stocks and some charts. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit. And on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, we're going to get into charts in a minute. I just want to personally apologize for the horrible disco music that plays preceding this show. Of course, we've got Disco Steve as the engineer. Somehow there are some people out there that just don't know that the mullet was probably never that great. But most people knew that it was time to cut that hair off, by about 1985 and stop running around playing bad Southern rock and driving their Trans Am. Time had moved on, but they had not, and they're still wearing their mullet or their ponytail from the 60s. It's always wise to move along. Unfortunately, they're all stuck in that horrible, bad time. It would be different if good music costs more to listen to than bad music, but how could it be? I mean, it costs just as much to listen to a good song as a bad song. And, of course, I think we can all agree if you were drunk and high in 1980, maybe some of those songs would sound good. But in retrospect, it's kind of like you could someone gave you a credit card. You could go to a great restaurant that's 5 stars on one side of the road, and on the opposite side of the road, there was some Japanese place selling kind of like tofu that just didn't taste good at all. And you ran behind and jumped in the dumpster from McDonald's and tried to eat something that was 2 days old. I mean, there's good music, and then there's not so good music that's just kind of tasteless, and then there's bad old music that's got kind of like mold on it. So anyway, call Disco Steve at 877-927-6648 and remind him it is a 2013. And we're going to go on with stocks here. What do we have? SodaStream, we talked about that this morning. Of course, high of the day was 76.04. I suspect we want to be watching for this is a gap down tomorrow morning. Just one of the, how can you say, just one of these things that makes you think a top is very close and in. That when they try to run these scams, there's almost always somebody on the other end of it. I suspect there will be an investigation, and we'll find out who placed the article and why it did. Most countries probably don't have enough leverage, but being Israel, I have a suspicion that we're going to find out fairly quick who placed that article and whether or not someone had some money in the market and decided to make a quick $15-20 in the marketplace. Anyway, gap up, huge volume today. I would not be surprised to see if this is a blow-off top. Look for a lower open and a basically an island setting up out here. We did talk about Apple and their problems with streaming music. They have kind of been up on most of the down days. They have been down and are still down today. Very interesting, which makes me think that if we do get continued and further weakness in this market, be very wary of Apple. Everything as far as the leaks for Monday do not look good so far. And, of course, they continue to have bad news after bad news roll out both in patents and in this e-book pricing fiasco. Of course, I wouldn't put those problems on the current CEO, but these were kind of the leftover problems of Steve Jobs. And him pushing it. Of course, the weakest sector out today has pretty much been the semiconductors and semiconductor holders. We'll look at that in a minute. Altair off strong on decent volume. This certainly looks like it could come back into that 31.5 area to maybe $31. But everybody kind of freaked out and started selling Altair. Its cousin, of course, Xilinx, the same kind of thing. This one actually had broken higher and had every indication that you might be able to see this as a false breakout. He had just slightly more volume than necessary. And what in Xilinx, and this one would look, it could look a little bit worse. Not a whole lot of volume just yet today. But we are going to be keeping an eye on this. But what I'm looking at is, you basically had 4.6 million shares on the February 19th high, and it tried to get into it with 3.9 million shares reversed on March 14th. So you really wanted to see this thing come through and blow through with a lot more volume. On the 29th of May, of course, 3.8 million shares, not a whole lot in that. You did have higher volume, but 700,000 shares that instantly reversed is not the kind of sign of strength that I'm looking for out here. Probably the nice thing is that we are getting back to this level on lighter volume. Let's take a quick look at the SMHs as the semis we're pulling back. But, you kind of look like you've got a little top in this thing today. The 3750 area is kind of acting as support back to the 23rd of May. We got kind of into that today. We'll have to see what volume at the end of the day really looks like. Anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, and we can discuss that, or you can email me, and I'll try to pick it up before the end of the show at PATH, that's path@tfnn.com. One of the other things I did want to get into is Oracle. Another one that is fairly weak today, but we have been pointing out what you want to look for in a Gartley pattern. And one of the things I did want to bring up, especially about the art of timing the trade charts, is how you go from one Gartley to another, and it's not uncommon when they start making Gartleys that they'll continue to make Gartleys. And what we're looking at in Oracle is just that. There was a previous one that we've been talking about, and if you're watching on Tiger TV or in the Den, you're going to see it. That was the X point on March 15th at $36.43, and your A point came in on March 25th. But one of the more perfect Gartley patterns, especially if you're trying to learn how to trade them and what you're looking for. That's it. You want lots of heavy energy down. You want from the X to A if you're looking for a bearish Gartley. Of course, just the opposite for a bullish one. You want a decent retracement with high volume. You want an untested low at the bottom with higher volume, which we have at that March 25th date. I'm pretty sure that that's what we're going to find. Oracle going back to is that A point on March 25th at $31.16, 39 million shares. It's probably going to find support at that level. We've got decent volume so far down today. But what you'll see is just this, and we saw it in Ryland Homes, I think. Yeah, Ryland. And that is that when Gartleys really start to work in a particular equity, they will continue to fire off in that. And so you continue to see these, but you've got one Gartley here. You go right into another Gartley, which is the bullish Gartley. And what you didn't want to see today was a lot more volume than the B point. And I suspect we're going to get that, which is going to negate this Gartley. The B point in this latest Gartley pattern was the May 24th low at 22 million shares. We already have 19 million shares. If we could hold heavier down here, would suggest that we are going to continue to see heavier selling in this, and I think we've got that $31 level coming in fairly soon. But not uncommon to see one Gartley followed right into another one. But I suspect that the one we really want to be watching is the larger one of those two. What else do we have out here? Netflix was off fairly strong. We're seeing a lot of these stocks that have been highly speculative at a minimum. Coming off, and not a lot of volume so far in this one. Of course, I suspect this will be the short of all time when we finally find out what Netflix is paying for some of these some of the content that they have not been willing to tell us. They haven't told us what Disney's content is going to cost them when it starts streaming out. They also haven't given a lot of figures out on some of the content that they make themselves. So it's very hard to find out whether or not they're actually making any money on this deal or just buying a bigger truck. Not a bad company. I just dislike companies that won't really tell you what's going on. So you really don't have a real good idea of that risk reward. I don't see any indication yet that Carl Icahn has started to sell heavily into it. I suspect that he's starting to put his toe in the water in exiting this. Of course, he's in this at about $56. It's going to take him a while to get out of it. But he's made 300-400%. I'll guarantee you he didn't get to where he was at by not selling big winners, and this is certainly it. Watch for this to go sideways for a while, break, try to recover, and then pull the trigger there. We do have two major gap ups in this equity, and I would not be surprised to see one more on maybe some dubious information, and then to see both of these giant gaps out here actually filled probably fairly quickly after he's out of this thing. But I suspect we're going to see more gaps on big news, and that's going to be the last of a three-gap play. Three-gap play basically is three big, huge gaps up, and then the stock falls apart and goes back and fills all three of them. And that's what I'm looking for right now. We might not get it, but I am speculating that's what's going to happen. And if I get one more gap up, I'll be the one all over this, like white on rice. Other stocks out here that are interesting, JDSU up on symbiotic pop of some stocks last night in this sector. Ciena popped well, and it tried to get back up into this previous high of May 16th that had 7.8 million shares. You're probably going to have that kind of volume today, but what we're really shooting for in the next real test is going to be the April 10th high. That was $14.25 on JDSU Uniphase. This thing is kind of consolidating out well. What I dislike is it still should come back to this $12.40 level where you had 13 million shares and retest it. And when it does that, I suspect that consolidation will probably be over at the lows. This may be set up very well. Intel, one of the stocks that has come off the giant pop. I've been kind of bullish on this stock for a while. I still think this thing's going to have a major pullback, and that's what we want to do to get into it. We've got a couple of callers we're going to get to real quick. John from Philly, how you doing today, John?
David, I'm fine. Thanks for taking the call.
And what do we want to look at today?
David, I wanted to tell you I'm the proud subscriber of Art of the Charts.
Okay.
And those instructional videos that you have created, those are quite helpful.
Well, fantastic.
What I wanted to ask you here, with your version of the software, I wonder if you could just take 1 or 2, 3 minutes and give us an example of you scanning through a couple of mining equity charts that might be in one of your lists, and just go through briefly the quick exercise of seeing what price patterns jump out at you using that tool.
I've kind of done it, and the problem is that these things have not set up a real good trend. Let me see if I can find my gold list here. Projects, scans. I've got somewhere. Well, maybe they're on my SkyDrive here. Scans, gold. There we go. Okay. You called about GG, so we'll use it first, or try to use it first here. Let me get to it just a second. Okay, we'll do a GG first. I suspect you've got one more pullback in these, and I've been waiting for these to get back. Like in Goldcorp, I'd love to see this thing back in around the $27 level and have one more light volume move in this thing to start thinking that these things have bottomed. The energy up on these has been okay, but not great. Yeah. And I still think that we've got some consolidation to go here. Normally, when you get the kind of destruction and price destruction we've had out here, they just don't turn around on a dime. Mm-hmm. And that's what I would say is the idea that these things turn in a second just isn't true for the most part in this kind of destruction. You'll have a lot of people. You need some time to get these to turn around. And that's why I'm thinking you're going to have these things bounce around for a little while before they get moving. And that's on Goldcorp. That's kind of it. I think you need some level. Can you hang on through the break?
Thanks, David.
Okay, we'll try to talk to John on the other side of the break. We've got Mike from Denver holding. We'll get him in before the end of the show.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll you'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of tfnn.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
And do we still have John from Philly on the line?
Still do, David.
Okay. We've got, I looked through most of these out here. I'm going to try to get to Mike in Denver here before the end of the show. But to me, just because these things have bottomed doesn't mean to me that they're extensively going up. I think the destruction out here means that even if gold does go up, I suspect these things are in a lower trading range for a while till they consolidate out. I think you probably have a bottom in these. I just don't see a lot of risk-reward going forward until these things at least base out for a little while. I think everybody's going to be selling these for every half buck that they go up. Now, maybe you're just talking about intraday trades or even 1 or 2 day trades, but I'd like to catch these on the next real move, and I have a feeling that we might see a month or two of these consolidations continue, maybe even into September. And then, just let them base out for a little while. Then they're going to be ready. I know everybody's looking at the gold move today. And markets, to me, just normally are not light switches. They aren't on and off. And a lot of times in equities, you'll find that huge V where everybody gets blown out one day and that's it. But that's generally fairly rare. I wouldn't be short any of these. But I still think we probably got a couple of months to look at silver and gold, especially the miners, and start thinking that these things are going to consolidate out, come back out, test the lows one more time, and if we get light volume there, probably the end of the summer, maybe mid-August, something like that, we might be ready to move on up. Anyway, I want to thank you for the call, John. We're going to go to Mike in Denver, ECTY. How you doing, Mike?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. So what are we doing with this?
Well, I found this stock end of March, 1st of April, and I've played it a couple of times. I know it's a small market cap and a small company, but they're in the electric charges. They're building up charging stations in the company I work for. But are
these the people supplying them for like Tesla's charging stations, or is this different?
Mm-hmm, the Volts, I think it's a Fast Charge or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they hooked up with another company that also does it to get a common credit card so the customers can use it. So I'm just thinking, how strong do you think it is? I know it is a super micro, small cap. And you think it's got more of a pullback to about $1.27 or so?
Well, you read my mind. I thought maybe even $1.15. But yeah, I think you're going to get back into that. You got that high volume at 240, so this would certainly be one that I would keep on my radar. I mean, you got two high volume moves up there to 236, where everybody came in and just started selling the heck out of it. But yeah, I think you've got pretty much what you want. You got that high volume move that started the whole thing on the April 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably going to come back down to there. And if you have light volume, like 1.5 million shares, let it base out for a little while, this could be very nice. And, I haven't I've looked at all the charging stations that Tesla's setting up. Do you know if these guys are making the disk setups for the house? Because I think that's where the huge volume would be, where you just drive over it, don't have to hook anything up. Have you seen those?
Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't read their full.
There's a couple of technology both in cell phones and in this in the car charging systems, where you just either put it near it or close to it or on the dash, your cell phone on the dash. I'll check this company out and talk about them tomorrow.
All right, thank you, sir.
You bet. We'll see you all tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.